Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take a stack of sources and really just distill the absolute essence of what you need to know. Today, we're digging into one of Japan's most, I think, compelling and maybe contradictory indie artists.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
EeL, often called the diva of the Kansai indie scene.
And, when you look at her music, that diva title starts to make a weird kind of sense. Not because she's a pop diva in the classic way, but because she just completely rejects genre.
Completely.
I mean, we're talking about an artist who can go from electric punk to high-speed techno-pop and then just pivot to tropical surf rock.
All while keeping this one really specific vocal identity. It's fascinating.
It is.
So our mission today is to look at this key moment in her career around 2010, 2011. She releases 2 albums at basically the same time.
Right, the compilation, Kung Fu People, etc., and then the all-new album for common people.
And through them, we want to understand this creative dynamic, which feels like paradox, between her and her producer, Milch of Source.
It's the perfect case study in collaboration, really. What happens when you have this hyper-technical, genre-hopping producer, and you pair him with an artist whose instincts just will not be put in a box. That tension is where all the magic happens.
So to set the scene a little, EeL starts releasing music way back in 1999. And the sound was really different at first.
Very different. French pop, bossa nova elements, but she moves on from that fast.
Super fast. By 2000, she's already found that high-speed techno-pop sound with that signature, whispery voice.
And here's the piece of context that I think changes everything. She wasn't a full-time musician from the get-go.
No, she was working at a game company.
In development, totally behind the scenes. Her whole entry into the music world was almost an accident. A colleague, Sandu, scouted her. She literally went from living, as she put it, in the shadows, making games, to making this.
That idea of moving from the shadows feels so key to her whole sound. The first phase, before Milch of Source, it was just pure experimentation.
Oh, yeah. Albums like Kung Fu Master, People, Era Smorgasbord, Bossa Nova, Ska, Reggae, French Pop.
Just boundless energy.
And that 2010 compilation, Kung Fu People, etc., it's basically a history lesson of that era. It shows you just how wide her musical taste was before she even had a dedicated producer to sort of channel it.
But then the real shift happens, April 2002. Milch of Source comes on board as the track maker.
And the music doesn't just expand, it gets way more demanding, technically. His influence just ratcheted up the complexity.
Which hits this incredible peak with the 2004 album Little Prince.
Oh, that album is a masterclass in, controlled chaos. It's this aggressive mix of breakcore, electronica, funk, reggae. It all just smashes together.
The sources have this amazing analogy for it. They call it Aphex Twin meets a Milli.
And that is perfect, isn't it?
It's perfect. You have the manic, super technical, almost abrasive sound of Aphex Twin.
Right.
But it's laid over with this charming, playful, innocent vibe from the movie A Milli.
And that analogy really nails the paradox of their partnership at that point. Milch of Source was creating these incredibly complex, sometimes aggressive tracks, full of breakcore rhythms, really challenging jazz and funk ideas. And the question was, how do you make that enjoyable for, a normal person?
And the answer was her voice.
It was EeL's voice. Her sweet, almost childlike delivery is the counterweight. It's the spoonful of sugar that helps the complex electronic medicine go down.
Without that specific vocal, those tracks could easily just become academic noise.
Exactly. Her voice was the filter. It let him go to these wild, complex places with the production because he knew her vocal would always pull it back into something that felt like pop.
Okay, so if Little Prince was about him showing off his technical skills with her voice as the balance, then the 5th album, For Common People in 2011, feels like a real philosophical change.
It is, yeah. That album deliberately puts her vocals way more out front. The tracks are still wild, don't get me wrong.
Oh, for sure. Tropical sounds, surf guitar, punk.
Ska. They called it an adventure story in a different dimension. But the focus is less on the track's complexity and more on the immediate punch of her performance.
And this kind of reveals what Milch of Source's real job is. The interviews make it clear his main goal isn't just to be trendy or show off.
No, it's not at all.
It's just to make EeL shine. He said he wants to simplify things so the listener just enjoys it.
And that simplification is so important because EeL's creative process is, well, it's almost totally instinctual. She's not a conceptual artist.
He's reactive.
Totally reactive. She needs him to throw ideas at her, melodies, tracks, whatever, before she can even decide if she likes it or not.
That's so interesting. So if she can't always explain why she doesn't like something, how did he not just get completely frustrated trying to figure out what she wanted?
Well, that's where you see the growth in their relationship. She said that early on, she just accepted whatever he gave her.
Right.
But during the For Common People sessions, he gave her total permission to say no. He basically told her, if you don't think it's good, we'll just ditch it. No hard feelings.
That's a huge psychological safety net for an artist.
It's massive. It gave her the confidence to just say, I don't like this part, without needing a technical reason. There's this great story about him trying a garage rock track with crushed vocals. He played it for her and she just immediately disliked it. Instead of pushing, he just accepted it. Her artistic filter said no.
So he's not just the producer. He's building this flexible, genre-fluid framework that's designed to be shaped by her instincts. Her voice isn't just balancing the sound.
No, her instinct is guiding the whole thing.
Her instinct is the composition.
Exactly. Her personality becomes the ultimate constraint that holds it all together. And, speaking of her personality, we have to talk about her lyrics.
Oh, we do. Because the music is so bright and chaotic, but the lyrics, they are often really shadowed and introspective.
And the first thing that jumps out is that she admitted she used to deliberately avoid writing in Japanese.
She's in English, Portuguese, and especially French.
And the reason she gives is just brutally honest. Embarrassment.
Yeah.
She was too self-conscious, too ashamed for her audience to immediately understand the direct meaning of her words.
I mean, think about that. A pop singer who is actively hiding her thoughts behind a language barrier. It's incredible. And she had a very practical reason for picking French first.
She did. She said it was because it was hard for most Japanese listeners to judge the quality of her pronunciation.
So it gave her another layer of protection.
Another layer of protection while she was still figuring out how to even write a song. She only moved to Japanese because, funnily enough, looking up words in a dictionary just got too tedious.
And when she did switch, the lyrics really confirmed that sense of darkness. You get lines like, I feel like I can do anything if I have nothing.
Or I ran away from big things. And when they asked her if she was pessimistic or if something bad had happened,
she completely rejected that.
Totally. She said the lyrics are somber because that's just her natural disposition. It's a lifelong thing, not a reaction to something. And more importantly, she said she doesn't choose words based on emotion.
Right. She chooses them based on their sound and their vibration.
Which is such a critical insight. The musicality of the words, the rhythm, that comes first. It just reinforces that she operates on sonic preference above everything else.
And that preference extends to her whole aesthetic. She says, point blank, she dislikes overtly cheerful things.
Yeah, she finds art more relatable, more profound, if it's bright on the surface but has a hint of darkness, a shadow.
Which connects right back to her early career.
Yeah.
She said she was comfortable at the game company because she was in the shadows, the behind-the-scenes creator.
And that tension between her shy nature and what's expected of a performer, it actually played out on stage.
Oh, yeah. She said when she started, she felt like she had to be cheerful, to smile, to dance, because that's what a pop singer does.
But forcing it just made her incredibly nervous.
So she's putting this external constraint on herself that's fighting her own instinct. What changed?
She just realized that when she let herself be natural, even if she was just standing there stiffly, not smiling, people still got it. They still appreciated the performance.
So authenticity won out.
Authenticity, even quiet authenticity, connected more than forced enthusiasm. She found her freedom by just leaning into her natural, shaded self.
And that whole process of her accepting her own instincts is the very same problem that Milch of Source had to solve on the production side for common people.
Exactly. Because her process is so instinct-driven, each song took forever, sometimes 3 months for a single track.
Which must have created a huge headache for him as a producer. By the time they finished all the songs, he looked at the album and realized
it was a mess. The tracks were too different, too scattered. There was no cohesion.
So he had a collection of amazing songs, but it wasn't a unified album. How did he pull it all together?
He needed a new constraint, a technical one. On Little Prince, they used a lot of programmed electronic beats.
Right.
For common people, the big breakthrough was adding live drums. He brought in a live drummer for several key tracks, which they hadn't really done before.
Why did that work? Why live drums?
Because the live drums brought this physical, organic groove that programming just can't replicate. It was an anchor. It unified all the different flavors, the tropical, the punk, the ska, under one consistent sonic feel.
So that single production choice made the whole thing come alive.
It gave it the cohesion it was missing.
It's fascinating. The technical solution is a mirror of their creative relationship. She provides the consistent vocal constraint, and the live drums provide the consistent rhythmic constraint. And that lets all the other elements go wild without the whole thing falling apart.
And this whole search for unity led Milch of Source to this big philosophical breakthrough, which he called climbing the adult staircase.
Adult staircase, right?
He realized that growing as an artist for him meant moving away from complex concepts and, showing off technically. He was moving toward what he just called simple enjoyment.
Yeah, he said he became less obsessive about tiny details, more relaxed.
Right.
Almost like an old man who just wants the audience to have fun.
Which is a huge shift for a producer who built his name on breakcore and complex electronica. His focus moved completely to accessibility.
But that accessibility only works because of EeL. She's the constant. Her catchy, totally unique vocal style is the one thing that stops his genre hopping from just turning into chaos. She grounds his genius.
At the end of the day, their partnership really proves that sometimes the greatest creative freedom comes from the tightest constraints.
Yeah.
Her constraints, her instinct, her vocal texture, her preference for the shadow, that's what allows his music to go in a million directions and still feel like pop music.
So what does this deep dive really mean for you listening to this?
I think the core takeaway here is seeing the value in a partnership where pure instinctive artistry, that's EeL, driven by sound and shadow, is paired with this very deliberate genre-fluid production that's all about accessibility. That's Milch of Source. And if you're working on any kind of creative project, maybe think about that. What restrictions are you trying to force on it? And what is the essential defining constraint, like her voice or his commitment to simple enjoyment, that you should be embracing?
Because the very thing that feels like a limitation might just be the anchor that lets everything else take flight.